Sylvester Bratton. Thank you, Snow Hill United. Thank you, Snow Hill, for having confidence in me. I want to say thank you, first of all, to every single person who showed up here tonight to call wrong, wrong. And every person who is doing their part to eradicate social injustice that exists in this community and in this country. I am grateful for every person who unashamedly is willing to say Black Lives Matter. Not because it's a slogan or catchphrase, but because you know the worth and the value of every human being. When I say Black Lives Matter, it does not negate the fact that all lives matters. But today it is imperative that we acknowledge that our most vulnerable race of people are targeted, and we cannot stand on the sidelines and watch these senseless murders occur.
Speak, Kim.
Since I received this invitation last week, I have been nervous about what to say because I recognize the impact of my words. I recognize that my words have power and my words have influence. And I struggle with the right words to say because just like you, I am feeling a lot of emotions right now. I'm hurt, I'm angry, I am disappointed. And all of these are valid emotions and they deserve to be addressed. I am also perplexed, wondering why and when will this senseless killing end. In times like these, I rely on my faith. And I've asked God the question, why? Why do Black and brown people suffer injustice at a much higher rate compared to their white counterparts? Why? The murder of George Floyd on May 25th by police officer Derek Chauvin was a deliberate attack on a Black man. The killing of several unarmed Black men and women at the hands of people that are sworn to protect and serve is wrong. I stand with you, Snow Hill community, in saying that we all have a responsibility to put an end to this madness. As a younger sister, and I want to be transparent for a moment, as a younger sister of two Black brothers, I cannot help but be reminded of the possibility of something like this happening to my brothers or even my husband. And I will admit and be honest that my own brothers have suffered and faced racial injustices at the hands of white officers. Please allow me to share two stories with you. About 10 years ago, I received a phone call from a family friend saying to me, "Kim, your brother has been murdered." My brother? Yes, Jerome has been murdered. I said, can you imagine the hurt and fear I felt at that very moment? There were very little details, except she heard he had been shot and left on the streets of Prince George's County to die. After a night of calling several morgues and several hospitals, I finally found my brother at the Prince George's County Hospital. He had been there over a month, having been shot 8 times all over his body. Although my brother survived that vicious attack, I personally know the hurt that one feels even with the thought of losing a loved one. I can also recall being a teenager in North Carolina and watching my other brother with 3 rifles pointed at him because he and I were in an area where a crime had been committed. It is important that we hear these firsthand stories of people that we know, because we have to realize these are real people. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery are not characters in a dramatic series. These are not fictional characters that pique our curiosity. They are sons and daughters. They are brothers and sisters. They are mothers and fathers. If you really want to be a part of this change, you can't sit back and rationalize these crimes and find ways to justify them. Too many people are sitting home right now trying to figure out, what did George, what did Breonna, what did Ahmaud, and the list goes on and on. What did they do to deserve this? Well, my response to you is they did nothing to deserve these executions. The use of counterfeit money should not be a death sentence. Sleeping in your apartment in a neighborhood that may have drug dealers living somewhere near should not be a death sentence. Running in a neighborhood should not be a death sentence. Selling cigarettes should not be a death sentence. A simple traffic stop should not be a death sentence. But that has been the sentence for so many of our African American men and women. We have to be open and honest and admit that black people, primarily black men, are seen as a threat, and they are approached with a sense of urgency by white police officers and white citizens who believe, I need to kill this black man before he kills me. This is stereotypical thinking. It is a slave master's mentality that existed over 400 years ago. Its time has run out. It is time to stop it.
Speak, Kim.
It is time to stop it. Almost 28 years ago, God gave me the great privilege to start my career as an educator in Worcester County Public Schools. I do not take this role lightly. As a leader in the school system, I have a responsibility to educate our children at the highest level and ensure that they are prepared when they leave us. Our school is a safe haven for our kids. But I have to admit that I worry about our students as they leave this safe environment. Although I love and support all children, my heart carries a heavier weight for the brown and black children who bear the burden of systemic racism. Those young people who will be judged for the color of their skin and not the content of their character. As George Floyd, for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, lay face down on the street, dying with a knee in his neck, he cried for his mother and he pleaded with the officers, telling them, I can't breathe. I am certain that George Floyd remembered his fellow African-American brother, Eric Garner, another unarmed man who declared to a white officer in New York that I can't breathe. Since 2014, these three words have been tweeted more than 1 million times. But regardless of how many times they've been tweeted, it continues to be ignored. With George and Eric, I can't breathe was used in a literal sense. But today I am asking you to consider this phrase as your life's work. To breathe means to release air, to relax, to let go of what you're holding on to. But Snow Hill, I challenge you today, don't breathe. Don't breathe means don't let this fight go. As the days and weeks pass, don't relax. Don't give up the fight. Dr. King says, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Use your power in your voice and in your vote. Teach your children that racism is wrong. Teach your children that the errors of the past have to change. Teach your children that the stereotypical thoughts of black and brown people are wrong. And finally, fight this fight by getting out and voting for change. Not just in our national elections when we all show up, our local and our state elections, where these acts of crime are justified with a stand your ground law and a citizen's arrest law. There is no justification for kneeling on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. There is no justification for shooting a man running through a neighborhood. Stop justifying these crimes and rectify them. Make it right. Thank you so much for having me here, and God bless you.